I hear ya. You want to mod your Game Boy, but you don't want to bother with soldering. And I get it. You don't want to miss out on any features because you didn't solder. And of course, you don't want to go out and buy a new shell just to do it. You want to be able to just drop it in your childhood console and have a great gaming experience. Fine, let's just do that. Who needs a soldering iron? A couple things before we get to the tutorial. Soldering is still optional on this mod. You can adjust the brightness with the built-in touch sensors, but if you hate touch sensors like me, you can solder one little wire so you can use the brightness button instead. If you want to know, I'll show that at the end of the video, but it's the same as every other mod kit. Another thing I wanted to clarify, there is a big section in the middle of this video that is not necessary at all for 99% of you. I just wanted to do this mod to my Famicom Special Edition, and they don't make this kit with a red screen lens, so I swapped the lenses. So if you're fine with a black screen lens, you can just skip ahead because otherwise you will be terrified to do this mod. Most of you should just leave the screen lens alone because since this is drop-in, everything should line up. But first, let's tear this thing apart. There's a Phillips screw right here in the battery door. Ooh, that's a fancy battery I've never seen before. Interesting. Now we can swap over to the tri-wing screw. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Dang, this is a really, really clean Game Boy. Pop that off. I don't even think I'm gonna have to soak this one. I think I'm just gonna give it a little spot cleaning with the IPA. We can swap back over to a Phillips head and we can take care of these 3 screws. 1, 2, and 3. We can lift this up. All the membranes are gonna come off. That's all right. We can pull these 2 tabs down right here like this. And then that ribbon cable will just pop right out. I'm gonna put all of the membranes off to the side for now. Pretty much all the buttons are gonna fall out in a second anyways, so all of this looks amazing. Whoever owned this, I'm sorry you got a line in your screen, but thank you for giving me a steal. Then for the speaker here, I'm just gonna take my plastic spudger. There we go, pop that out and set that off to the side as well. Again, we're going for cheapness here. We're keeping everything. We're using all the original stuff. There's a secret Phillips head screw down here. Take that out. That takes out that little piece right there. That goes right there. We can open this up, and this is kind of a hard part. So I'm gonna take the plastic spudger here, see if we can lift this up. Yeah, okay. Lift this up. This is tough. It does not want to come off. I'm gonna try a different one. So I'm just chewing these up. Unfortunately, I'll end up getting some replacements for it, I guess. The glow-in-the-dark ones might match it close enough. I don't know, but that just sucks. Most of the ones I get in are so dried up that it's easy to pop out. There are a few times where I get the super gummy ones, like these. Not even gonna try anymore. This sucks. I apologize, but I'm not used to carefully removing these. I would try dropping some isopropyl alcohol around them to hopefully try and make it less sticky for removal. But just take your time with this step and hopefully you don't ruin yours like I did. Okay. Moving back to the tri-wing screw, you can just unscrew these 5 tri-wing screws here. You can take this off and the screen should easily come out. One of the nice things is we don't actually have to take out the hinges since I'm using an original shell. I recommend testing before we go any further. Lift the latch up and stick the ribbon cable in like that and then lock it down where you can stick this in and latch that down. This is already lifted up from earlier, but we can stick this in and latch that down. Then to test a lot of SPs, I like to just lay it in the back half like that. Then drop our battery back in. Look at that. Just works. Our next objective here is removing this guy. With these, since it's all plastic, it's really easy to just peel it up. And that's all I'm gonna do. My original tape was too dried up to reuse, but I'm going to use some new double-sided tape instead. We're going to actually peel this off, and we're going to try and remove the screen from the screen lens. And I'm going to use heat here just because this is going to be way stickier than the other lens, and this is glass, and I don't want to also break the screen. So just spread the heat evenly. Again, this is completely optional because this is not easy to do, even if it looks like you're doing it right. Just take your time and make sure you spread that heat all around. Now we just gotta check and see if we messed it up or not. And we got lines on the screen. Well, that really sucks. Oh gosh, no. This is not a fault of the kit. This was me. That was my doing. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Nice thing is these are interchangeable with the Game Boy Advance variant. Look at that. Just works. Probably should have done this from the start, but I didn't want to steal it from another kit. I'm like, yeah, no, I can do this. From here, though, I will get some double-sided tape and we will actually stick this screen to the new lens. Pretty much any double-sided tape should work for this. I'm just going to put a few strips of it around the screen lens. Hopefully, I won't get any dust or fingerprints on this, but chances are I probably will. And before you start commenting, oh, Jake, they make these kits with these screen lenses on them. I know, but they don't make it where you can just drop it in without having to trim those shells. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it back on, peel this, spray a little canned air, and then I'm going to very carefully line all this up. Tried my best there. I think that's pretty good. I'm happy enough with that. Woo, hallelujah. We can turn it back off and start putting the rest of it back together. This was a lot of unnecessary steps, so you probably won't be doing this in your particular case. I'm going to unplug it from the motherboard and put the motherboard off to the side. We're going to flip this over, and there should be a little insulating film that comes with it. Stick it down onto the metal part of the screen, and then we can get our double-sided tape that they included. You stick it down right about here so you can press this down. Normally I would desolder these touch pads, and honestly I would recommend cutting off the one that's for color, because having the color palettes on a full color Game Boy is a little stupid in my opinion. But moving on, we're gonna act like touchpads are everybody's best friends and install both of them. I'm gonna take this shorter touchpad and put it right down here. I'm going to take this longer one and put it on the opposite side. There we go. Now we can take our fully assembled screen and slap it right in here. Everything should and will line up. We can fold this over lightly. Don't fully crease it. And then we're going to loop-de-loop this. Make sure the loop-de-loop goes into this slot here. Then fit this end of the ribbon cable through the slot so it can go out here. Now we can put the back half back on. Everything should fit. Don't force it, because that means that there's probably something in the way and you don't want to break anything. And since we already have the hinges installed, which is not something I'm used to, we can put this little piece back on top. It only fits in one way. And we can take our long Phillips screw and put that back in. Make sure it's nice and flush. Don't over tighten screws. I'm the poster child for that. Then we can go back and open this up, and we can put those tri-wing screws in. If you didn't screw your pads up like I did, you can put those back in now. And we can put all of our buttons back in here now. And don't forget this little piece there. But from here, we can take our motherboard and slide in the ribbon cable. If you can reach, then just push both tabs down at the same time. Then we can put the motherboard back into place. Then we've got our 3 Phillips heads. Swapping back over to the back half, you can put your power switch in. The bumpy side goes in like that. Make sure it's in the off position, and make sure that the power switch on the motherboard is in the matching position. And then you can just put it over the top like that. Back over to the tri-wing and put our 6 tri-wing screws back in the bottom. Remember, the 2 short silver ones go right here and go right here. And then the 4 gold ones go in the 4 corners. Drop our battery in, put the battery cover on, and to screw it down, you guessed it, you gotta change back to Phillips. And as long as we didn't mess anything up, we can flip this open and turn it on. And again, we put the touch pads down here and down here. We've got the brightness adjustment by tapping on the right side, and the color palette adjustment by touching on the left. Now let's talk about the optional soldering. I highly recommend it because, like I said before, touchpads suck. Rewinding a little bit, you'll add some solder here on the ribbon cable and here on the SP board. Then connect the lone wire to both of those points. Now you can adjust the brightness with the button. And now I'm going to remove those awful touchpads. The other reason I recommend soldering is because it's probably time to clean your power switch. But a lot of Game Boys have a lot of dirt in theirs, and that's like the most common issue among broken Game Boys. The differences between this screen and other mod kits is very minimal. The only real difference is this screen is a little cooler in color temperature than the others, but it's not something you'd ever notice unless you have a bunch of modded Game Boys like me, and it's not like it's a bad thing. The games still look beautiful on here, and it's gonna be leaps and bounds better than the original. So what do you guys think of this mod? Do you want me to make more videos on drop-in kits? Let me know in those comments down below. I mean, I'm already planning on doing other drop-in kits, but let me know which one you want to see first. And of course, even if this is still a little too scary for you, you can always buy a pre-modded one from me on my website, retroremastered.com. So like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later, guys. Man, why did I have to freaking ruin those?